Hello, everybody. Welcome back to High ND Sports. My name's Ocean.
How's it? My name's John.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you guys live minutes after the Thursday night football of Week 17. All right, this week is Week 17 of the NFL season. Today was Thursday night football between the Cowboys and the Titans, and we are going to give you kind of our reaction to Thursday night football. We're going to talk about a few things. Might talk a little bit of shit just because, you know, it's the Cowgirls. But we're going to talk about it. But before we get to Thursday night football, we want to incorporate a new segment that we're going to be doing here. We're not quite sure exactly how often, but we're going to start off with hopefully at least once a month, and then maybe we get into once a week. But we're going to call it Drink of the Month, or Drink of the Week. So basically, every time we do it, one of us is going to bring a drink that the other person has never tried before. And
Hopefully never tried or hasn't tried it in a while.
Or, you know, something that isn't normally what we drink, and we're gonna have them test it out. Sorry. This will be a little bit interesting once John ends up going back to school, because then he'll be in North Dakota and I'll be here. So we're going to have to, you know, do some shipping and whatnot and figure that out. But
and that's why a month probably might work a little bit better. We don't know, just because it might.
We'll figure it out as we go, you know. And so we're gonna start it off today. So today John bought something for me to try, and I'll let him take it away and explain to you what it is and what we're doing.
Okay,
here.
so basically, for those who don't know, or everybody's watching don't know, we're a big Propel family. We love Propel, right?
Yeah. We probably are single-handedly keeping Propel in business.
Right. So, you know, here you buy the 3-flavor packet from Costco, but in Minot, where I live, we don't have Costco, so I'm forced to buy like the packets, right? The packets of powder and
that you mix into the drink.
They mix into the drink.
Okay.
So there's a few different flavors that I've tried, and I don't know if I've tried before. I don't know if you tried it before, but there's one flavor besides berry, which berry is my favorite.
Which is so weird, because berry's my least favorite out of the 3 that we have. Which is good, because then he can drink all the berry while he's here, and I'll drink the others.
But one flavor that's kind of stuck that I love drinking, because usually the packets get boring after a while, so there's no change. The one packet that sticks is this one that I'm about to pull out of the couch, because I put it in there. But it is black cherry.
Oh,
so the thing for me about cherry is, you know those like super red Machino cherries?
Yeah.
If it tastes like that, it's gross to me. It's too much. But
it's too fake.
Right. I like normal black cherries, or normal whatever cherries are called. But I don't like eating them too often, because I hate the seed in the middle. But,
so like, you don't like grandma's chocolate covered cherries?
I can eat a few. Or like, you know, you can buy those from the store.
Yeah.
Whatever brand they are. I can eat a few before they're just too much for me.
Okay.
So, but this black cherry to me tastes like those like the real cherries.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit stronger compared to some other Propel flavors. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to pour it into that mix, and I'll pour you that cup with ice in it.
Okay. I can tell you that I think I have tried this before, but it's been long enough that I don't remember what it tastes like, and I don't remember if I like it or not. So. Do it next to the mic for some ASMR. That 10-second clip is about to get us famous.
Keep in mind, this is kind of a big cup, so it might be a little
diluted.
It's all right. But I like it. The more water, the merrier. So.
All right. So just be very careful with the cords. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to our first drink of the week. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen,
whatever it's gonna be.
This is probably gonna stay alcohol free for a while. So, yeah, we're Propel. Here we go.
It is a bit diluted, just a little bit.
Definitely, but I'm getting hints of Black cherry. No, this is solid. It seems like to me, it seems like a variation of the berry flavor. To me.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not like I like it better than the berry flavor for sure. But it's yeah. For me, grape still reigns supreme.
Funny though. So the packs are like packs of 10. So I've had this since I came home, and I have been trying to at least save one for you, but I still have. I have 6 left, so
well,
I'm gonna be chilling.
That's because we have bottles of Propel for you to drink. You don't gotta dip into your stash yet.
But I think I don't know. Propel is kind of a. I didn't intentionally make it like a recovery drink or like
sure.
Whatever to start off, but and a good segue to go to Thursday Night Football. In sports drinks are kind of important,
right?
And a lot of people don't think that they are, which I think it's kind of a weird narrative that people are like, oh, you should be drinking water. And for a lot of things, for elite athletes, that's simply just not the case.
Yeah.
And there are some good sports drinks. There's some really bad sports drinks. Body Armor. There's good and bad, and it's basically what you prefer. But
yeah.
There's a couple of brands out there that I would just say stay completely away from.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know down in the comments below if you guys would like us to dive into that, because it's sports related. I mean, sports is in the drink or in the name, right? So we could swing that on the channel if that's something you guys would be interested in. John actually did a in-depth study of it while he was in college for one of his classes. So. He's not just talking out of his butt. He actually has done the research and looked at the nutritional value of many different sports drinks. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, we'd be more than willing to do a video on it and kind of dive deeper onto what sport drinks are good and what sport drinks are bad.
Right, and give us your opinion. What is the best sports drink that you think you've tried?
Yeah.
Not in terms of health, but like what you think tastes the best or what works for you. If you are an athlete, what works for you?
I would say for me it's good old fashioned Gatorade, man. There's just something about the OG, So, all right. So Thursday Night Football, right? Today we had the Titans and the Cowboys face off. A little bit of a interesting game going into it because there was a lot of personnel updates like today and yesterday as far as like injuries and stuff go. So for example, the Titans are now on their 4th quarterback of the year. Is it 4th or 3rd?
I think it's 3rd, but it's not because of injury like everything else on the Titans roster.
Yeah.
It's because Malik Willis just is not the guy yet.
Well, I mean, it's partially because of injury because Ryan Tannehill was put on IR, today. And I don't really know what for. I don't know what his injury was. But so he's on IR. And then, like you said, Malik Willis just isn't cutting it. So they brought in Josh Dobbs.
Right.
So you were telling me that you were pretty high on Josh Dobbs going into the season.
Josh Dobbs was on the Browns to start the season.
Right. He was in training or preseason.
We all knew that Deshaun Watson wasn't going to play till week 11. So I was looking at watching their preseason games because to me the Browns were an interesting team to watch because you didn't know what was going to happen with them.
Yeah.
But Josh Dobbs balled out this preseason. He balled out the few times he got to play when Ben Roethlisberger got hurt with the Steelers.
Yeah.
A few years ago. He didn't ever start, but he got to play a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's been a bounce around guy. But I really, from everything that I've watched from him, like it seems like he deserves at least to be in a backup role. I don't know if he should start, but I watched. We watched most of the game. Some of it I missed, but he kind of he looked like an average quarterback who was on a team that was full of injuries and playing on a Thursday Night Football game.
Yeah, I will say the film that I watched of him today, I didn't see any difference between him and about 30 to 40% of the other quarterbacks in this league.
Right.
It was pretty average. And speaking of injuries on the Titans roster, a graphic or a stat that I saw today after the game is that the Titans have put 83 people on the IR in the last 2 seasons.
That's crazy.
That is absolutely bonkers.
Right.
Like, who is the strength and conditioning coach over there? Who's the medical team over there? What are y'all doing? That you got 83 players over the course of 2 seasons on IR?
I'm not exactly sure the statistics on this, but I think if you really look at the teams who, I mean, every team wants to be physical, right? Every team wants to be a physical presence, but the teams who embody that, who live that, who live, die, or like live and breathe and die that physical where like doesn't matter who you are, we're gonna put you on the ground.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those teams typically see more injuries, and that's what the Titans are, right? Especially their defense, because their defense, they don't have all these star players, but they have guys that will put you in the dirt.
Yeah.
Right. And I think
their offense also for the last 3
ball.
years has been a ground and pound offense.
So I'm not saying this 100%, or I haven't looked at enough statistics to say this as what it is, but I really feel like there is a connection between that, because either that or they have a really bad strength and conditioning coach, right?
Yeah.
Like for Washington's case, like 2017, 2018,
Trent Williams
when everybody was always hurt.
Yeah.
Like that was because our strength and conditioning coaches were subpar and not taking care of the players, right? But there's been a few other teams, or a few other places that you go, like especially in the past few years, like New England they get injuries all the time, and then they bring in a guy that you've never heard of before, and he's all of a sudden has the highest rushing percentage, not rushing percentage, pass rush percentage or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about Uche?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
No, you're right. That injuries are a league-wide issue for sure. It was a pretty insane stat to me to see that many people were put on IR, because it's different for that many people to get injured. It's another thing for that many people to be put on IR,
right? Meaning
they are required to miss at the very minimum 4 weeks. So it's just a bonker stat. Let's talk about the game a little bit, though. Obviously, the Cowboys ended up taking the W, but something that I think a lot of people kind of, I don't know, like everybody says a win is a win, right? And I think that's true. I think a win is a win for sure. You added one to that W column, and I'm not, even though I hate the Cowgirls, I'm not trying to take away their win, but I think there's something to be said for a win against a team that you should have dominated.
Right.
And
they didn't dominate the game.
No, not at all. The score kind of looks like it, but 2 of the touchdowns were scored late in the game.
Right. And so I wouldn't say dominate is the word, but I say control. They controlled the game, but they didn't dominate it.
No, I don't think they did at all. In fact, there were a couple moments where I was like, if the Titans connect a few plays here, they could really turn the tide of the game and turn it around. I mean, there was at one point it was 24-13, and the Titans are driving, and they're at the Cowboys 40, and there was like 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. If they had scored there, with the defense the defense had 2 picks and a fumble recovery, or a forced fumble on the night. So the defense, it was hot. If they had scored there, who knows what kind of momentum shift that could have given the Titans, and the push could have given them to finish the game strong. So I don't know, for a team that is being touted as a Super Bowl contender to go up against a team that's not even in the playoffs right now, and they're in contention for their division.
The Tennessee Titans have lost their last 5 or 6 games.
I don't know exactly how many, but I know they lost to the Jags last week, which is a big upset. So, it's frustrating because nobody talks about near misses, right? Nobody talks about how the Cowboys should not have beaten the Texans. The Texans should have won that game. But
it's kind of crazy just to me, because I really feel like Dallas plays to their competition.
Yeah, they don't. More
so than any team in the league.
That's probably true. Yeah, I think I I do think that Washington does that, though. I will admit that
Yeah.
Washington plays to the level of their competition a lot. But I think Dallas does it more often, and that's why Dallas always ends up with these crazy upsets or with these very crazy near misses. But then everybody just kind of like waves it off. And
Right.
I think, honestly, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me from this game is that people need to start really considering if Dak Prescott is not the long-term answer in Dallas.
Right. Because he threw two
He
picks.
threw two picks,
he
lost a
has
fumble, and he only had like, how many yards did he have?
282.
282. Like, and the about 100 of those came in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter when the Titans were just trying whatever they could to,
Right.
to
Well, I
scrape
feel-
together a win. So
something that I was noticing the past few games really, that's kind of along the same lines is that I really feel like Dallas gets away with things that teams don't get away with. Not like with refs or anything, but the fact that Dak Prescott could throw 2 picks this game, and he throw like 3 picks a few games ago,
Yeah.
and they still won.
Yeah.
Like, to me, not only does that show that maybe Dak isn't the answer, which I don't, that's a whole different conversation, but I really don't understand how Dallas continues to get away with losing the turnover battle and still winning football games. That's bizarre to me because, like, I mean, maybe it just means that their defense is that good, or that their offense is just explosive enough to make up for their mistakes or whatever. But
I think Dallas is a luck team, and that's why they put together these 11-4, 11-5, 12-3 seasons, but they haven't been to a Super Bowl in the last 30 years.
Right.
So I think that's why. I think the reason why is because they get lucky. They make these turnovers. They lose that margin, or they lose that battle. They do all these other dumb stuff, and it hurts them. But they just get lucky. Like that one defensive pass interference call that gave them like a 60-yard jump to the 5-yard line. Like that to me, like, yeah, sure, it was kind of pass interference, but I have seen far worse not called.
Right.
But they got that call. So I'm not saying the refs are in their pocket or anything. I'm just saying that, like, I think they get lucky in very opportunistic times that allow them to overcome that deficit.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, luck can only get you so far.
Right.
And that's why they don't make it any farther than the second game into the playoffs or maybe the NFC Championship.
Right.
So
It's just so mind-blowing to me because I would say there's maybe 2 other teams in the league that I can think of that can have that and still win a football game.
yeah, maybe like the Chiefs and the Bills, maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Right? The Chiefs and the Bills are probably the only 2 other teams that can overcome that, but they both, like, for them 2 teams, I understand it because both of their offenses, they could score at any point.
Yeah.
Right? And both of them have pretty dang good defenses.
Yeah.
Right? Do I think Dallas' defense is good? I don't know. I think that they have weaknesses that people haven't explored yet.
Yep.
And I think that they're a very hype team, right? So if their defense is playing, or if their offense is playing good, their defense is gonna play good. If Micah Parsons gets a sack, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How, like, I don't understand. It's like if one person on the Dallas defense does something good, it's like the offense gets scared.
Yeah.
You know? Like the fact that there was a play today where they had 2 tight ends on one side, and they brought a corner blitz to the tight end side when both of them were blocking, and Micah Parsons was standing there, and he didn't even do a move or anything. As soon as he got touched, he's like almost just stopped his feet, and they were both standing there like, oh, what's going on? And a corner ran right past him, and I think he almost got the sack. Josh Dobbs was able to throw it away before he got there, but like, I get bringing more attention to the good players, right?
Yeah.
But I would say that in some cases, it's better to put a tackle on Micah Parsons than 2 tight ends. Because, I mean, he could beat the tackle one-on-one, right?
Sure.
But you're gonna
He's
put 2 tight ends and take away focus from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's how Dallas's defense gets you. Because it's the same thing like the Rams were doing last year.
Right.
Right? They counted on you putting 2-3 guys on Aaron Donald.
Right.
And that opened up everything else for them.
Right.
You know? And it's like if you are willing to take the losses from that, why don't you take maybe a few more losses from the other place so that you don't get scared. You don't get scared. You know what's going to come, and you can work to defend it.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Because that's what people do against Washington.
Right.
That's what people's offensive line. They get scared of Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. But I'm pretty sure they're more willing to let them get like 1 or 2 sacks a game than letting their offensive line get so confused and so scared that they put five people on 2 guys and leave the outside wide open. You know?
No, I think you're right.
But anyways, I'm getting too far away from the game.
No. I think you're right.
But basically, Dak Prescott threw 2 picks in the first half within like 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, so let's look at some of these stats here. Dak Prescott was 29 for 41, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So that's what is that? A like 62% pass or no, it's like 65 or so. And they also had a forced fumble, right? They're rushing.
Hold on. 29 divided by 41, 70%.
Okay, all right, 70%. My bad. Yeah, that makes sense now that I do the math in my head. The rushing attack, there was a total of 32 attempts on the ground, nobody over 4.0 average. Mike Davis had 10 carries for 39 yards. Ezekiel Elliott had 19 carries for 37 yards, a 1.9 yard average, and a touchdown, which the touchdown was a fucking
goal line.
Yeah, I mean, like, you put anybody back there, your chances of making it are pretty good. Yeah. So, the conversation of Ezekiel Elliott to me is dead. Like, I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, he's coming back like Saquon came back, and I'm like, no, Ezekiel Elliott is done. The team should move on from him, go in the direction of Tony Pollard. But that's just my opinion on him. Receiving, there's one person in this receiving core that I wanted, or actually 2 people that I want to talk about. One person that I want to highlight because it goes in direct reference to our last episode of the Pro Bowl. CeeDee Lamb had a 100-yard game.
On 11 receptions.
Yeah, so great job. You had one 100-yard game. Congratulations. But Dalton Schultz, seven receptions, 56 yards, which obviously is not the greatest average, but he had 2 touchdowns, and he was the primary target within the red zone. And I think that your comment of Dalton Schultz belonging in the Pro Bowl is probably backed up a lot more by his performance today.
Well, really, it just seems like whenever he gets the ball thrown to him, he's either wide open or he catches it no matter what.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, shit, man. Like, when I watch Dalton Schultz, I'm like, fuck. Like, is this guy the new Jason Witten or something? Like, I'm not saying he's that good.
His first touchdown was pretty insane. It was a quarter fade route, and he took the ball right out of the corner's hands. Like, he high pointed that ball and took it. Like, that corner was in good position, had good coverage, and was playing the ball. But Dalton Schultz went up and got it. And as much as it pains me to give credit to a Cowboys player, Dalton Schultz, you looking pretty good, man. And then the other person I want to talk about real quick is T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton may be one of the best late season pickups that I've seen in a while, and it kind of pisses me off that he's on Dallas because I've always been a huge fan of T.Y. Hilton. He's obviously had an injury bug for the last 5 years or whatever, but this is the second game in a row where he's had an impact. Right, he had 4 receptions for 50 yards, which is not a huge impact, but when your receiving core is made up of him and CeeDee Lamb, and that's pretty much it. Like, it's nice to see that he's making that impact. So, that's all I got to really say on the Cowboys. On the other side of the ball, Josh Dobbs threw for 232 yards on 20 completions with 39 attempts, 1 touchdown, one interception. Nothing I wouldn't expect out of a third-string quarterback brought in to try and give a jump start to the offense. And then their rushing attack was kind of all over the place. But obviously the big one that's missing from the conversation
Is Derrick Henry.
So the last thing that I wanted to really touch on and talk about as far as this game goes is, what do you think the difference would have been if Derrick Henry was a piece of this offense for this game? Do you think it would have made a difference, or do you think that the way the game went, it was kind of...
I think, personally, I think that maybe it would have been a little bit different in terms of statistics, but I'm not sure how much different it would be. I mean, the Titans with Derrick Henry, I mean, they lost to the Texans last week.
No, that's the Jags.
No, the Titans played the Texans last week. Because they lost 19-14 to the Texans.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So they lost to the Jags and then they lost to the Texans?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Come on, Titans.
But even... Yeah, they lost to the Texans last week. But even with Derrick Henry running all over the Texans defense as usual, they still lost. And that's something that's concerning to me when you look at the Titans, is that it used to be Derrick Henry, he runs for all this yards and they win. But nowadays it's like they need more. They need more.
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, they obviously need more, which just kind of shines the light on the Titans front office or whoever the hell's decision it was to get rid of A.J. Brown.
Right.
Like, whoever made that decision, like, you should lose your job, in my opinion. Like, if it was your choice, like, if it was your decision to get rid of A.J. Brown and send him to the Eagles, like, I think this is pretty clear cut that you made the wrong decision, and a wrong decision like that could pretty much directly be linked to their playoff chances being thrown out the window. Like, I think you should lose your job.
Right, because they had little passing offense before, but it was like dump off here. Oh my gosh, A.J. Brown made this great catch and a great run. Right? But nowadays it's like, fuck, they don't have nobody to throw to. And Robert Woods, I thought when they traded for Robert Woods, I was like, oh, great. Yeah. Robert Woods is a pretty decent receiver.
Yeah.
But he can't do it all himself. And he's old now.
Well, I just don't think he's the same from his injury. Right. I think he's just a different guy now, and it's just not what he used to be. And there's nobody else on that team. Treylon Burks is a rookie, and he did well today, but he's showing very rookie mistakes and rookie. He looks like a rookie.
I think Treylon Burks could get better, and he could turn into a number one receiver. Sure. But I just don't. I don't see. You could have kept AJ Brown and still got Treylon Burks.
To me, it's not like you traded away a 10-year player that's starting to show signs of a decrease but still star talent, and you're getting rid of him for hopefully the next one of him. You got rid of a player in his absolute prime who is showing you exactly why you shouldn't have gotten rid of him for pretty much nothing. Like, you didn't really get a whole lot out of that trade.
Yeah.
So, whoever did that decision, you should be fired.
But yeah,
maybe that's what we need to start doing in the NFL more of. We just start needing to fire people. Maybe people will start being better at their jobs.
Yeah.
People won't get as hurt as often or whatever. All right, so to close out this video, I just want to go over the box score of this game, and it might, as I was reading this, I think it might give us a illumination into as why Dallas was able to make so many mistakes but still come out with the win. Okay, so we already talked about passing yards and rushing yards. The total yards was pretty similar, 361 to 317. Passing yards, obviously, the Cowboys threw for more, but not by much. Rushing yards, Titans ran for more, but not by much. They had the exact same yards per play, which is insane to me. All right, so first downs. Titans had 17. The Cowboys had 26.
Yeah.
That's a huge one right there. You can't win games if you're not making first downs. Third down efficiency, Titans were 7 for 16. Cowboys were 8 for 13. Not a huge difference there for me. Sacks allowed and Cowboys allowed 1, Titans allowed 2, not a huge difference. The punts, Cowboys punted 3 times. The Titans punted 5 times, but that's just indicative of the fact that they weren't getting first downs, right? That's just something. Here's one where I think it makes a big difference. Penalties. Cowboys committed 3 penalties for 35 yards. The Titans committed 10 penalties for 124 yards. So if we're talking about just baseline statistics, right?
Right.
You take that 124 yards and add it on to the total yardage of the Cowboys, that's it right there. That explains, because now they got 480 yards of total, yardage,
right,
versus 317, and that explains why the Cowboys won 27-13, right? And then both teams lost 1 fumble. Cowboys threw 2 interceptions. Titans threw 1. Admittedly, one of the Cowboys' interceptions wasn't really Dak's fault, because his receiver literally had it in his hands and then threw it up for some reason.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that's on. It's still a mark on your record, man, and that's the way it is for everybody. But the last stat is another indictment of why they came out with the win. The Cowboys won the time of possession battle, holding on to the ball for 33 minutes and 26 seconds versus 26 minutes and 34 seconds. Yeah. So, penalties, time of possession. I think that's, as far as this game goes, I think that's kind of where it was lost. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other factors, but when I'm looking at the stats and the box score and stuff, that's what jumps out at me. You can't be committing 124 yards worth of penalties and expect to come out with a W. That's just too much. Right. It's too much. So, ladies and gentlemen, what did you guys think of the Thursday night football game? Thankfully, Thursday night football has gotten a lot better since the beginning of the season. There was a 6-game stretch where it was pretty bad.
No touchdowns. Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks in a row.
There was no touchdowns until the Washington Bears game.
Week 7.
I think it was either week 6 or week 7. It was week 6 because we went 1-4 and then we won that game. So it was week 6, no touchdowns on Thursday night football. So thankfully it is better now, but thankfully. All right, so let us know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the game. Let us know what you guys thought about our drink of the week thing.
Black cherry
Propel. And then also let us know if you guys want us to do a full episode on what are the best sports drinks to drink, what brands are better than others. We can kind of dive into that for you guys. We appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for being here again, John. And we have another episode coming out later this week for you guys on Washington. It'll be your guys' Washington update, so stay tuned for that. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media. Links will be down in the description below. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Deuces.